Okay, so for these last few problems, we're looking at these problems in vertex form, and we want to make sure we identify A, H, and K. So if you look at this, the A aligns with negative 0.75. We see that the x's cancel and the negatives cancel, so the H value is positive 5. And then whatever's left on the end is your K value. So positive 6 is my K. So I'm going to write A is negative 0.75. I'm going to write that, let's see, negative 0.75. I'm going to write that H is positive 5. And I'm going to write that K is positive 6. Just remember what I said before. The biggest mistake is that people mess up H sometimes. And notice over here, it's got to follow the formula. A, quantity, x minus h, closed quantity squared plus K. The x's cross out, the negatives cross out. So whatever is left, which is only 5 is left, is your H value. That's why H is 5. Okay. And the A and the K are just literal. It's what's in front and behind the parentheses. So in front is negative 0.75, so that's your A, and behind is a positive 6, so that's your K. So your vertex is H comma K. H comma K. So we know that the vertex for this problem is H comma K, so it's 5 comma 6. We know that our axis of symmetry is a vertical line, so it's x equals, and it's the x coordinate of the vertex, so we say x equals 5. The direction of our graph, we look at our A value. Since our A value is negative 0.75, since A is negative, we know it opens downwards, so we know it's down. And then over here, we look at the absolute value of A, right, to see if it's narrower or wider than the parent. And absolute value of negative 0.75 is 0.75. And when we're comparing to the width of the parent function, we're always comparing to 1. And since that's smaller than 1, it's opposite of intuition. It's actually going to be a wider graph, wider than our parent. Okay? So let's look at the next one. Oh, and before I go on, remember, I like to say, instead of aligning the A, the H's, and the K's and using the formula, I like to say that the vertex is, because it's a vertex form, so you're supposed to look at it and go, oh, that's the vertex, without doing any, formulas or anything. I like to say opposite of inside, number on the right. So if I had negative 5, opposite of inside is positive 5. Comma, number on the right is 6. Vertex, opposite of inside, so 5, comma, number on the right, 6. From there, axis of symmetry is the x part of the vertex, 5, and then A is number in front, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So I'm going to do my little trick. Vertex, opposite of inside, number on the right. Opposite of inside, so inside I have a negative 1. Opposite of inside would be a 1. Comma, number on right, 4. So our vertex is 1 comma 4. Axis of symmetry is the x coordinate of your vertex. So we'd say the axis of symmetry is x equals 1. That's going to be that vertical line that slices through our graph that goes through the vertex. The direction, we count on A for direction. So since A is positive 2, we know it opens up. We know that this graph is going to be narrower than the parent because the absolute value of A is positive 2. Oops. And it's opposite of intuition, so it becomes narrower. And again, if you align this, guys, to find if you know the vertex is H comma K, I like to say opposite of inside, number on right. But if you align everything, you know the A is 2, the x's cancel, the negatives cancel, so the H has to be positive 1, and then the k value is positive 4. Okay, then we look at 35. So for 35, I'm going to do my little trick. Vertex, opposite of inside, number on the right. So opposite of inside, opposite of positive 2 is negative 2, comma, number on right, 2. The axis of symmetry is the x coordinate of the vertex. So our axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. That will be our vertical line that slices through the graph. We know the direction of the graph has to be up, because if A is positive 0.5, positive A values mean the graphs open up, which we'll see later when we graph. And then, lastly, to compare to the parent, we know that the absolute value of A, our A value is 0.5, is 0.5. And when that number is less than 1, we know that our graph is actually going to be wider than the parent. Now, just to go back to the technical way of doing this, if you look in the book or whatnot, this is a good example of rewriting something. So if I took this equation, right, and I wrote y is equal to 0.5 x, instead of plus 2, since I want the signs to align, I need a negative. So you can always replace a positive with 2 negatives. So that's kind of how the book and some people explain this. But that's why I just like to say opposite of inside, number on right. So then when you have y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared and k, whatever's left, your a value is 0.5, your x's cancel, the first negative cancels, so your h is negative 2, right? Our h is negative 2, and our k is the last number. Okay, so again, a is 0.5, the h is negative 2, and your k is positive 2. The only thing that's opposite of your intuition is what's inside the parentheses. A is always the number in front, and your k is always the number afterwards. So when you guys do your work that you're going to turn in, for example, for number 30, the number behind is your k value, right? So your k value is negative 3. Your number in front, if you don't see that number, you know it's a 1. So your a value would be a 1. Your k value would be negative 3. Your vertex would be, for 30, opposite of intuition, number on right. So opposite of negative 3 is 3. So your vertex would be 3, comma, negative 3. The only thing that changes in terms of writing, vertex, axis of symmetry, all that kind of stuff, is your vertex, what's inside parentheses changes. So again, for 30, it would be 3, comma, negative 3. Your a and your k values are just the number in front and number behind. Those don't change. Okay? So give the problems a try. The evens, 30, 32, 34, 36. Remember, the number in front is always a. The number behind is always k. So for 32, the k value is negative 5. For 34, the k value is 1. For 36, the k value is negative 2. The only thing that changes is what's inside parentheses. Inside parentheses, or your h, is opposite of intuition. So give the evens a try. Check your answers, right? This comes from page 327 in your textbook, section 8.2. Check the even answers to make sure you're good. And come on Zoom at 11 if you need help. Okay? Talk to you guys later.